What's going on? I got my good friend Gigi on today. What's going on, G?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was just telling you how long weekend of moving my buddy into his new house. So finally recovered from that, and I'm back on track with everything. How about yourself?
Good. No, it was a great weekend. Went to Newport just with the family for Father's Day. It's a tradition that we do, well, for them, and it's great just to kind of step away from here and just kind of just smell different air, taste different food, just different environment. And of course, the company is always fun. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it was good.
yeah. I know, family's pretty big for you, so I think I will probably try to touch on that a little bit later about like circle of influence and people who kind of help you. But before we kind of dive into different things, um, how about could you share a little bit about yourself? Like, what is it you do? Who do you help, kind of thing?
Yeah, so I am my own salon owner, G Geraldo Salon. I have been opened up my own spot in 2018. I've been in the industry, in the hair industry for 20, 20 plus years now, maybe 24 years. I started late in the industry. I did go to college to become an early child education teacher, but I always did hair. I did hair when I was in middle school. I did hair all the time. Things just kind of came very naturally to me. Like I always wanted to mimic what I saw on television. So I finally went to school, but that was in New York City because I figured if I'm going to do something, you know, big dream, big city, right? So went over into New York, did school there, but was still living at home, and I knew I couldn't financially support myself, so I stayed here and ended up working at a big salon here in Stanford where my cousin was working at the time, and that's where it set off. So I have a New York license and a Connecticut license, but Stanford's been my home, so it's been here. But I've gone to different salons like in Westport and Greenwich, and now I'm stationed here in my own salon.
Wow, I
I
didn't know you needed to be licensed in different states for doing
The
stuff.
crazy thing about that is that New York actually requires less hours than Connecticut, which blows my mind because New York is just like where it all, you just go to New York and all of a sudden you just I kind of feel home when I'm in New York because I can feel like I'm like myself. It's more diverse. It's very innovative. It's creative. It's artsy. So, but yeah, so the hours are there less than here, but just stayed here. And now I have my own place, and I'm really happy. I love the industry so much. I ended up taking what education that I wanted to do in school and applied it to my business. So I became an educator for a brand, a color brand, a professional color brand, and I did that for 7 years. So I kind of felt whatever I initially wanted to do when I was in college, I kind of just came back and did it in my industry. So I'm really
Yeah,
proud of that. Yeah.
yeah, that's full circle. Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you ever kind of feel like you missed out on the education world, but it sounds like you kind of brought it with you into your industry now.
Oh, for sure. When I was in this salon that I used to work at, and that's where it all started for me, they have normally salons have apprentice time. So you have to kind of be an apprentice for a year or two and take their classes. They want to make sure you get on the floor and are very knowledgeable and know a lot more before putting scissors in someone's hair, color, working with chemicals. And for myself, I had a goal. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do this in 2 years. And I put myself on the floor in 6 months.
Wow.
So I hustled. I worked hard. I went to every class that the salon offered in points. So I took my tail into New York City. So much for this one particular brand that they came to me and was like, "Do you want to be an educator? Because we see you here all the time." And that's
Mm.
how it started off for me. So
Wow, cool.
yeah.
So I would imagine that it's not just one deadline. Once you hit this many hours, you're automatically an expert. I imagine you've got to continue doing it to continue getting better and become as great as you are. But what is like the minimum amount of hours that you need to be licensed?
Well, Connecticut's 1,500. You need
Wow.
that just to get a license. Stepping out now till this day, as we speak, I signed up online, so I educate myself online.
Hmm.
So it never stops, at least for myself. And I think it's really important to just continue, no matter what industry you're in, is to always do something for yourself, to stay motivated, to be inspired. My line is my industry is very creative, and it's also very innovative. I can take something that someone's teaching me, but I will apply it differently and do something different just because it makes more sense to me. But
Yeah.
the foundation is there. So it's
Yeah.
always an investment in yourself, always.
Oh yeah, I love that because I mean I spend plenty of money on investing in myself, going to different conferences and
Oh yeah.
learning different things and such like that too. And so many people graduate from school and they think that that's it. They're done learning for the rest of their life, and they think they already know everything that they need to just because they have a piece of paper. But I love that you said that because it is a continuous learning process. Like you gotta make sure you stay sharp so you can stay at the top of the industry and continue doing the best service that you can provide, right?
Oh well, yeah, because you have your own clients that are asking you. When they're
Yeah.
questioning you, asking you, so what's in trend? What's going on? Have you seen this show? Did you watch the awards? There are reasons why I watch certain things because everyone else is watching and they're like, did you see her hair? Did you see that cut? And I'm like, yes, I did. You
So you
know,
watch it not just for entertainment purposes, but for research
well,
purposes.
both.
Yeah.
It's like I'm kind of drawn into that too. Like they're like, did you see it? And I'm just like, oh
Do you
my
ever
god,
take notes while you're
that.
watching it?
I'm sorry.
Do you ever take notes while you're watching?
Oh, it's all in here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
actually, I'm usually always texting, my friends or my cousins, that are in the industry. And like, did you see that?
Yeah.
Who washed her face? No, her hair, whatever. But yeah, we're always like kind of just like talking about something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So what could you share a little bit on what it was like because you had grinded pretty hard. You said it took you only like six months or so to kind of get all those hours in.
Yeah. So, when I went to, I
Yeah, I can hear you.
completed my time when I was in New York, and then when I came here, I did work at a salon. But in order for me to be part of a class, or like, for them to teach me there, I had to complete 5 more hundred hours.
Mm.
So that meant I had to go back to work in New York to complete 500 more hours. And what I did in that time is I just started going to different classes, and they were telling me this is actually applicable for those 500 hours. So instead of me just doodling my thumbs and just working as an apprentice, shampooing, sweeping hair, I was actually taking classes. So when I actually went back to any salon, I already know what was going on. Like I understood
Hmm.
a little bit about, mixing, application, of just the verbiage that I would have between the stylist that I was assisting and myself and with the client. So I wanted to be ahead of the game. And so then finally, when I got my license for Connecticut and I started working at salon, I took myself to another one. And that's when I knew, okay, now is my time to shine because I will come to the classes in the salon that they offered. But if it wasn't around, I was already still taking classes on my days off. Because a lot of these were on
Mm.
Sundays or on Mondays on my personal time off. But I did it anyways because I wanted to know so much. I kind of wanted to be ahead of everything because I
Mm.
was like, I need to make money now. I don't want to sweep hair and shampoo hair for 2 years. There's no way.
So let me ask you, what was life kind of like at that time? Because it seems like you're just working, learning, working, learning. Did you have any free time? Did you do
Well,
anything, or were you just
okay.
working?
Yeah, it was stimulating because I met other people. I'm such a people
Hmm.
person, and I love to, if plus I'm in New York. It's kind of originally where I wanted to be. But I met so many other people in the industry that, it's not just one salon. That a lot of people like, yeah, I've known all these people from this one salon. I've known so many people from different salons because I've gone to so many different places. With education, um, different studios. Definitely rubbed shoulders with some really amazing platform artists. So and just kept in tune with them all the time. What we're calling the phones were out then. So texting, meeting up places, having drinks, and just kind of picking their brain a little bit about certain stuff.
Okay.
So it was always entertaining for me because outside of the salon, they're like, "Do you want to meet up?" But we're in New York, and I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go."
Uh-huh.
I want to meet
Okay.
her friends.
So that's interesting. So you basically made your social life around your work life almost.
Hmm.
Nice. Yeah, and it was just energizing you too, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I mean, till this day, it's still like that. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. It just never.
Love that. And so then once from right out of getting licensed, where were you working? Did you come right back here to Stanford and just start at the salon with your cousin, or what were the steps from getting licensed to now where you're at with your own salon?
Once I had my license, that's where I went to another salon in Westport, and that's where they gave me the 2 year apprentice. And then I basically got myself on the floor in 6 months. From there, then from Westport, I went into another salon. There's politics. There were just things involved that just happened that, eventually that salon closed. So I had to find myself a new home.
Hmm.
Um, what I found is that it's just like any industry, you want to be happy. I know my personality. I know who I am. I'm not expecting everyone to like me. I have no expectations at all. In my life, I was always taught just to make people happy. If you love yourself, love everything about you, know who you are and what your worth is, and just give whatever you can. You know, um, and I did that as much as I could, but I just didn't like going from one salon to another because of whether a salon was closing, new management, even change of color. I didn't mind that, but sometimes one salon just wants to change everything about,
Mm.
what they carry, and it's just like learning a new thing, which is totally fine with me, but then it makes it hard a little bit. So at one point, I was like, I don't want to go from salon to salon. There were people that have been in places for years, and I can't say I've done that. So I finally had my cousin who worked at the suites, and he was like, everyone has the same story here. Why don't you be your own boss? And I didn't want to do that. I was like, I don't know how to be my own boss. I want to go to work, make people happy, and then go have a life.
Yeah.
Everyone, but you can do that, you know? And when I finally did it, it wasn't easy. It was
Mm.
really hard because before that, my hustle was working at a salon and working at clients' house. So I would work a day job all the way till then afterwards I'm done with 5 and not get home till 9:30, 10 o'clock because
Yeah.
I'm doing multiple clients at their house.
Yeah, that gets insane. And so let me ask you, how much business skills did they teach you when you were going through all of your hours? Because I know for me personally, in undergrad, learning about biology and the anatomy and exercise physiology, and then in grad school about movement analysis and things like that, they never once told us anything about like business development or how to run your own business. So when I made the shift to doing things on my own, I had no idea what I was doing. I still don't even know what I'm doing, to be honest. I'm just trying to piece it together day by day. And um, so my question to you is like, when did you kind of start, when you realized that, yeah, I'm going to start doing this on my own? Did you have any kind of help, any kind of resources, or how did you handle that situation?
I'm so thankful and so lucky and blessed to have the person that from the franchise to really kind of guide me. Everyone in the suites, including my cousin, everyone was like telling me these are the things you have to do. And then a lot of it was just kind of just teaching myself as well. I had to kind of just look up and do a little research on certain things and understand, how to put things together. But you have to find out so much stuff, because they might give you just this much, but then there's like that much left, and
Hmm.
you have to. These discoveries are made, on your own from someone contacting you asking, "I need this," and you're like, "I didn't know that," no one told me this. So a lot of these things are really just kind of you discovering so much about everything. Till this day, I still do that.
Yeah.
So I know so much now that it's me sharing to someone else. This is the site you got to go on to get so and so,
Yeah.
because it no one ever really knows. There's so much more involved. And signing up for everything else. You
Yeah.
know, um, TED Talks are good too. I've been told to go on TED Talks just to kind of be inspired and motivated on entrepreneurship and running a business and how to separate, certain things. Oh man, again, that was in the beginning. I forgot who it was that I looked at, but it's just a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. But I have my own little notes that I do sometimes that I put in files specifically just for the business.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I know for myself at least, mentorship is pretty big. I'm always looking for different coaches who are already in the place that I want to be or have been in the place that I want to be with the
Mhm.
things and lifestyle. So I always seek to them for advice and hire them if I can, or just try to absorb as much free content as possible. With that being said, is there any role models or anybody in the industry that you kind of look to or modeled yourself after in the beginning, or what you kind of do is just all total self kind of art and kind of stuff on your own.
No, I was actually really inspired by a lot of the platform artists. There's one in particular that I really look up to a lot because she used to be a chemist, and she went
Really?
to school and she used to be a chemist. So her knowledge and everything that she delivers when she talks about color, I'm like, I sit front row. I want to know everything because that to me is huge. She knows everything about I deal with chemicals, the anatomy of hair. There's so much to know. Not everyone has the same hair, head, texture, everything. Hair loss. That's a big thing that everyone, questions too because of whatever it is,
And
whether it's
cowlicks too, right?
those lovely cowlicks, boy, they just have a mind of their own. So it's like I talk to her. I'm like, if you want to go that way, then we're gonna go that way. So there's a lot of things that I've been taught in the industry that if some person said no, other ones were like, well, let me tell you why I don't think this is a yes. I think this is a yes, and things
Hmm.
just kind of make sense a little bit for me. So the education that I've decided that I chose to invest in myself just helped me so much because there's a lot of things that embedded my notes. I have like I think 4 or 5 notebooks just loaded with material, but that's from classes that I went to, but also when I do my own classes. So when
Hmm.
I would go out and share, what I'm supposed to do for the class, I get so much back from, the salons that I go to, which is great because they give you some stuff that you're just like, aha moments, and I love that. I love it. I love it so much. So the one person that really sticks out in my head, I look up to her a lot. She has her own salon in New York City, and you know, uh, I would love to be part of her staff. But I love being my own boss. So I don't know
Who
if I would ever see myself working at a salon for someone. You
who
know,
who is this again?
Alexandra Matisse.
Ah,
She's been one of the platform artists.
have you
Yep.
ever gone down to her salon?
No, no, I haven't. That now's the time. Now's a good
Yeah.
time because it's not as slow. It's not as busy, but it's more time. A lot of salons are not open Sundays and Mondays. That's our time off. But also because a lot of us educate Sundays and Mondays. So if I decide to want to go to a class, it's usually on a Sunday and Monday. You know. But the great thing is now everything is online. So
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah.
Like so like when you attend one online, it's just like a webinar kind of thing.
Yeah, you pay for it monthly, and and the good thing is that you can just repeat it, so you can go back and be like, let me see that section again.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, it's so
Nice.
good. Yeah.
So another thing that you kind of keep bringing up is your cousins and family too. So talk to me about how through your entire journey as an entrepreneur, how has your family and your support system kind of looked, and like who has it been? Has it always been helpful? Do you feel like there were certain times where you were just like on your own and like the lone wolf kind of thing? Or share with me a little bit about that sort of stuff.
Well, family, just I'm all about family. You know what I mean? I have a very close relationship with my family. Yes, in the beginning, mom and dad, old school, they did not see hair as a career at all. So I did what mom and dad told me to do, and that's when I chose, okay, I'm going to be an early child education teacher. But then I kind of came back to them and I'm like, I don't like school. Like it was fun. Thank you very much. I had the best time of my life. But I want to do what I want to do. And that's when my dad was like, you're paying for it, you know? And now they're so proud of me because they've just seen where I've gone with it.
Hmm.
I mean, even in hair school, like I challenged myself. I entered competitions, and my brother, and a friend from here came all the way into New York just to support me. It was at a hair school, but they always kind of just backed me up because, we support each other no matter what it is, because it's like if you see you're gonna go far with this, then fine. But at least you're doing something. But then now, fast forward to now, it's just like, okay, you're really gonna do this? Are you okay to do this? Are you sure? Like, yeah, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You fail at it, right? But I don't see myself failing in anything, and you never want to fail at something, so you just keep going. and trying to
Yeah.
get better. And it's challenging all the time, because you're like, well, how does that person get it? How do they do that? How come I can't do that? Everyone's timing is very different. So I know what I do and what services I provide, which sometimes it just puts me with the client in the chair for a long time.
Hmm.
I take
Yeah.
care.
And I love what you said about the failure there, because it really comes down to your mindset. So in entrepreneurship, I feel like mindset is extremely important, and there's definitely going to be success and failure. No matter who you are, you're going to
Yeah.
experience both. And the important thing really is that when things don't go necessarily the way that you want them to go, that you look to learn from it. Because if you're learning, then you're still winning, I feel like. And it's not until you really as long as you don't hang it up and give up, then I feel like you can still have an opportunity to continue going forward. So when you do have opportunities, or when you have situations that don't go the way that you want to, you got to look for the opportunity to get better. And I love how you kind of brought that there. It was like learning to kind of connect with others and such. Um, with that being said, you said something about competitions. Do you do a lot of competitions? I know you did something relatively recently. Um,
Well, I wanted to actually sign up for. There's a competition. There's always a yearly competition happening. It's just timing. Everything is just timing. If I don't have that time to hand in anything, I won't be able to. But there are competitions every year, and I definitely am going to challenge myself to join that competition. It's a huge competition that happens every year, and it happens in Vegas.
mm,
It's every state, including Canada country, and everyone comes in and they just whatever category it is, you just sign up. If you are chosen out of so many people, like the top 20 of whatever, then you move further. So um, it's amazing because I actually went when I first started working for as a brand educator for Wella, and went to one of the competitions. Plus, our training was in Vegas, which was awesome, and it was mind blowing because just the way and the talent that just people have transforming hair, just cutting and coloring. I was just blown away,
yeah.
and I think that's what made me love it so much. Like I have chosen the right career because it's so creative, like
Hmm.
it's so amazing. It's so dope. Look at the industry, the entertainment business, what I mean? Like they need us, like we're the ones that create all this. Like people look on television and be like, I want that. I'm like, okay, it's so amazing. I love it so much. So I definitely am going to challenge myself to do that. What I do want to focus on is really just doing Fashion Week, but a little bit
Hmm.
more than that. Just really kind of seasonally doing stuff just so I can commit that time. The education right now, I put that aside. I've had 7 years of it and I loved it. But now I kind of want to focus on other things,
Hmm.
taking classes and becoming more of just to kind of just do more Fashion Week.
Okay.
That's fun. I love that rush. It's intense. Like if anybody even know, can see what it is, it's like we basically have 15 minutes to do a style. 15 minutes. That's just it. You know,
Yeah.
like that's what you do. You got 15 minutes to put this hair up. Okay. And it's intense. So there can be like five hands on one head. And that happened to me when I did it once. My model was late and I needed to glue on hair because everyone had to look the same, and she had very short hair, and there were five people. One was gluing, one was blow drying, one was flat ironing, and the hairdresser in front of her doing the makeup.
Damn. Have you
And
ever worked in a restaurant?
bartending,
Because I feel like that, like I
bartending.
I was like a bar back, like busboy type thing back in the day, and there was just chaos 24/7 in the kitchen, and I feel like that's what Fashion Week kind of sounds like. It's just like chaos, people running around, like,
Oh, it's so much fun. It's
yeah.
yeah. I don't I love it. I totally love it. Someone be like, I can't do that. I'm like, that's all I know. That's my life. That's how the salon is. If you're in a salon, it's 50 stylists on one floor, which is where I started at. It's going on all the time. Before you know, you're like, "Ah, it's 4 o'clock. I didn't eat lunch." Do you know
Mm.
what I mean? It can really be that intense. It can really
Yeah.
be that busy.
It's always
Yeah.
quiet when I get my hair done, though. I book out the
I'm
entire
changing
salon for
my
me, right?
yeah. I'm changing it up for myself. Well, yeah, but you don't know the person before you. I basically because I give myself that gap now. Now I purposely do that because I don't want to work back to back to back. So the good thing is that now I'm managing my time a little bit, so I can have a glass of water. I can eat something because before I never did. You
Yeah,
know, I can totally eat standing up, and I will not sit down. It's just one of those things that I'm just like programmed
yeah.
to eat standing up, so like I was this weekend, my father was like, why don't you sit down and eat? And I'm like, what do you mean? We were at a bar. He was like, I was like, what are you talking about? And my brother was like, are you not surprised? This is what she does, leave her alone, but mom and dad, sit down. And I'm like, I don't want to sit down. I didn't feel like sitting down.
So well, let me ask you this though, um, because I mean I've seen coaches and even myself in similar situations where yet you can if you don't leave yourself that gap and if you just book yourself back to back to back to back, you do make more money, but then you sacrifice yourself. So because then you're not getting to eat, you're a little extra stressed because you don't have that ten minutes or so to kind of calm to yourself. So when in your journey and like when was it and how was it like when you were like, damn, I don't need to be doing this back to back to back. I prefer to like for myself a little bit here. When did that happen and how was that kind of like a realization?
That happened after I opened the business. But that first year was still rough because I had to figure it out. So I didn't know how to give myself 15. Everyone's like, give yourself a 15-minute gap. That 15-minute went to 30 minutes because
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes was not enough because I was still overlapping, because I was still trying to figure out, because I don't have an assistant. It's just me, So even then I was just like, I didn't eat all day, and they're like, you're going to get the swing of things. Because that's kind of what happens. Like when you open your own industry, you're still trying to figure it out. And it
Yeah.
takes time. So that was rough. I can't even tell you how many cups of coffee I lived on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, it was bad because, and then I kind of felt like my nutrition was off. And that's the worst because then you feel tired and sluggish. And then sometimes you make kind of like really poor decisions when it comes to eating because you're just so hungry.
Yeah.
Like I just want a cheeseburger with fries, no salad, you know. And that's your
Oh,
whole meal for the day.
yeah.
That's how it
Uh,
was before in the industry. When I was constantly working back to back. We'll have someone order us food and they're like, what do you want? I'm like, give me a cheeseburger, man. That's going to last me all day, you know?
so when you were back to back working crazy hours, did you experience burnout or was it
All the
energizing
time.
you?
No, all the time. All the time while I'm there. And then finally, if it was a Friday and a Saturday night, because that's the weekend now, and those are our busiest days. I mean, I would come home and I would get that second win, and I'd be like, I'm ready to go out. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna get some appetizers. I need something before I go and have something to drink. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll find that win that's just right there in that moment. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I just kicked my own butt. You know,
Yeah.
I've been kicking my own butt for 20 something years, so it's like, why stop now?
So how did you not crash and burn though, working so many hours and then still kind of going out and stuff like that? Because a lot of times, I know for me even, I was just working when I was working like 60, 70 hours a week nonstop. I like closed out a lot of my friends. That's when my dad passed. And I didn't spend any time with him, and I missed out on a lot of like parties and events with friends and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I was just like, it hit me one day, like a year or so after my dad passed, and I was like, damn, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
I can't live like this. Did you
Yeah.
have a moment like that, or did
It's
you just kind of carry on and never slow down?
No, there are moments, where it's just like I'm not doing anything, like I just don't want to. I just want to lay on my couch. I want to order in and I just want to veg. And you can, I think honestly, as you get older, you're just kind of like, I need to just kind of like slow down a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
like I want to relax. I just want to enjoy, I don't know, maybe water my plants because they're dying, like they're neglected. I feel so bad. Do you know what I mean? Do something for yourself like that. Or honestly, just go out for a walk, even if it's just to sit in a bench at a park and just get that vitamin D. And
Mm-hmm.
I do that. I do that because I don't, it's not about always going out. It really isn't. But it's just moments because if you have a nice, big family, circle of friends, people are like, oh, we're going to get together next week. You forget about that. You just told that person you're going to get together with them next week. And that's the week you want to sleep, but all right, fine, we'll go out. I don't ever want to let anyone down, but you know, uh, that's just me saying no or yes to everything and not saying no. But no, there is moments. There really are moments, but I
Okay.
really enjoy company. I love people so much. So it doesn't have to be drinking. It could just be
Hanging out,
just hanging out. Yeah.
going for walks, get your
Yeah.
steps in. There
Yeah.
you go.
It's great to walk, man.
Yeah.
It
Tell me
really
about
is.
it. Tell me
And then
about it.
and then you can walk to the bar and just sit down and be like, all right, I got my steps in. Let me just get, a drink and then I'll walk back.
Perfect. You said you don't have an assistant or anything. Let me ask you, do you have any specific tools that you do use for that help running your business a little bit more smoothly? Like any kind of technology or tools that you like that you're like, wow, this has really helped my business a lot.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I have two phones. One is personal, one is business. And those two
Mm-hmm.
phones come with me everywhere, vacation, even for a walk, like I'm not even lying to you. So, it's just the technology that's going to help. The platform, Instagram is really good. Even Facebook, because I have them linked together. So whatever you post on your Instagram can go on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting, it's all word of mouth too, a lot of referrals. I still do kind of have these business cards that have like QR codes.
Mm-hmm.
So the QR code is a big thing now because it's just so simple to just kind of click on and link um, to, the actual site. Um, I went to our mutual friend, Brandon had an A to B to conference too. And I got to tell you, that was so inspiring. I loved it so much because it really pushed a lot of things for me. I met so many people, and the way they actually shared their contact with me was just one was just tapped his phone onto my phone. And I was like, what is that? You know? So I actually want to look into it because it's simple than just kind of paper. Who wants to carry a business card? But
Yeah.
I'll definitely tell you, I don't discriminate on any age, on anything. So I have my client lists are all ages, and so the business cards work for me for that clientele that are not tech savvy. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's like I still want to hold on to that. Word of mouth is another thing as well. A lot of people, spread the word that way.
Yeah.
Instagram is actually really good as well, but I got to be honest with you, it's really hard. It's a part-time job. You
Yeah.
know, it really is. I don't have
Yeah.
the machines which I want to invest in to just kind of do it for you because if I don't have an assistant who's recording, you know,
Yeah. It
my
makes different.
work.
Yeah. Social media can be pretty difficult. So like what kind of software do you use for scheduling and things like that?
I use Squarespace,
Okay.
and that's great because it does everything for you, so you can do all your booking online. I did it as simple as possible. I think things should be really simple when it comes to your clients trying to connect with you. They don't want anything complicated. So I made sure I worked on my booking system really easy. Put my bio, pictures on there, and maybe a little description of what I do. But the booking has to be so simple where they can go in, and if they have to reschedule, there's a link on their phone that they can click and do it themselves.
Oh, cool.
Right? Yeah, it's awesome. So I love everything that is just tech savvy because they can do it from their phone or they can do it on at home on their laptop or computer.
Wherever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
and there's also a link. So the Instagram also has a link there. So if you go on my Instagram is Gigi Rocks Hair, and it'll have my information. And there's a link. So if you press that link, it brings you right to the site. So I
Oh,
wanted it to be
perfect.
that. I needed it to be that simple. You know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, so yeah, the more simple you can make it, the easier that your customers and clients can find you.
Mhm.
Exactly. So is that where you're looking to go? Like what is the dream with your salon and such? Are you looking to hire an assistant eventually? Are you looking to hire a team and everything? Or what's the big end goal for you?
So I just kind of like want to just continue. really doing hair, not working that many hours. I do only work from Tuesday through Saturday. Sundays and Mondays are great for me to have off. I would like to take one more day off, but right now, an assistant would definitely be great, so that way I can actually bring more clientele and be able to do multiple services at the same time.
Mm,
Um, I've always, in all the time that I've been working, I've managed to learn how to work without an assistant. So when I do things, I kind of work smarter, not harder. And so that's why I know how to kind of manage two clients at the same time.
mhm.
But I don't like to work that way. So right now I'm renting a space out of my cousin's salon. So we are talking about getting an assistant because it'll be helpful.
Yeah.
We have the space for it. We just have to find someone. Um,
Have you considered hiring an intern?
we were talking about that, but I asked. I was like, "Do you want someone that actually wants to be a hairdresser?" Because on my part, I would love. I don't mind that because I would love to teach that person.
Yeah.
He or she, because it's just something I do. I don't educate now anymore because I'm just focused on the business. But it would be like one of those things that it would give me that satisfaction to kind of be like, this is what I'm doing, and break everything down. So exactly give that person exactly that knowledge that I had when I went into a salon to be like, oh, I'm supposed to be a person for 2 years. I'm like, no, I'm gonna only apprentice for 6 months or less than a year and get on the floor. Like I want to give that person that confidence and that knowledge so they already know. So when they present their work to the person that they want to work for, they're like, you're not doing junior work, you're doing senior work. You're on the floor now. You
Mm.
know. But it's also nice to just kind of have someone, help you and understand. Because I had it rough when I was working in the industry.
Yeah.
The way they told me, they was like, we want her to be a beige blonde, go mix it. I'm like, well, what do I do? They was like, well, you want to be on the floor, so go figure it out. So now I had to figure this whole thing out, look at the color wheel, and make sure I don't mess up a $400 job. That's
Yeah.
not my client, that's somebody else's, but they're forcing me to be like, you want to be a color, you want to be on the floor. I want a beige blonde. I have to understand what a beige blonde is. And I was like, oh my God, I can't mess this up. Yeah, so
Yeah. What do you do if you want to work in hair and color, but you're colorblind?
ooh, that's I don't know.
So
I
so
never met
I got no
anyone.
future in hair and
I
color.
never met anyone that was colorblind, like a hairdresser that's colorblind. No,
Yeah.
like a colorist. A colorist that I don't think I think that's pretty hard.
All
That's gonna be
right.
pretty hard. I would just say go into cutting. Just
Well,
cut away.
you've crushed my dreams in a matter of 2 seconds there. Thank
No,
you.
not a colorist, but you can be a stylist. Just cut
Okay.
hair. Yeah,
In case I want to might change industries. I
yeah.
got you. Um, okay, cool. So salon potentially a new person coming out. You got any other kind of projects? You got Fashion Week is something that you're looking forward to doing each year.
Yeah, I just want to work more on that and be part of a team. Did Fashion Week already this last season, which was really fun. But I want to go back to um, still working on it again. So it's going to be requiring more classes just to be part of a
Hmm.
team because there's a team that actually travels around the world. And
Ah,
that's what I want to do. I want to be able to do fashion, hair, and Milan and wherever it is, not just here in New York. I love New York, but I want to see the world. So there is a team that I see that travels, and but he has it's part of also the Wella industry where I used to work for. And I definitely want to take more classes to kind of involve myself with that team because I,
mm,
I love everything about their work, and I definitely love how they're all traveling together to do all kinds of different editorial work. Editorial work would be a really good thing, and that's magazines. That's all of that.
yeah. Cool. So I guess that's where we gotta look to find you soon, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna take those classes first, and cross my fingers, get there a lot sooner than later.
Well, before you do take off into that world, what would be the best way for people to kind of touch base with you, stay in contact with you, follow some of your content, and possibly reach out if they want to see what your services kind of have to offer?
Yeah,
Where would
so
people contact you?
on Instagram. So my Instagram is Gigi Rocks Hair. So two G's Rocks Hair. And the salon is ggeraldosalon.com. So it's my first initial last name .com. I'm in Stanford, so it's great. But yeah, Instagram is always a way that I get a lot of people that kind of just find me there and, send messages. So that's one way. And then just, yeah, do friends.
Oh, there you go. So is it just they have to come to your salon too, or do you travel at all for work?
I used to travel, so I kind of, now that I have the space, I would prefer everyone there because I'd have everything there, and we offer
Mm.
so much. So it's like it's not just you're not just coming in there like you're visiting friends, So it's a very comfortable atmosphere. We offer all kinds of drinks and snacks as well, and and me, So it's like it's a fun space. So I definitely would say just the salon is always it's easier because I have everything there and it's comfortable.
Never offer me drinks when I come in.
You're good when you come in. All right, I'll make you your cocktail next time. How about that?
Sounds good. Sounds good. As we wrap up, I want to be conscious of the time here. You have any last words of wisdom, or what would you say is the number one most important thing to know in order to survive the side hustle?
Oh, you know what? Know yourself. You know what I mean? Know when to kind of just take some time for yourself, for sure. Educate if you know you want to go somewhere, make sure you look up the tools to kind of help you. The good thing is that online services is great. If you want to step out and just do classes anywhere else, do that. Also, the resources, connect with people that will help you to get to these classes or do whatever. But when you need time to calm down and just for yourself, it's okay to disconnect, because you need that to kind of just, reset sometimes, and then start jotting down like, an outline for yourself of where you want to go, and you can check them off, but you sometimes need to do that. I think an outline would be great for you to do that for yourself because I did that for me, where I want to go, what I want to do, but you need your own time, your space, to kind of just figure all this out, but education is key always.
Oh, yeah, I love that you pointed that out. I do a annual goal setting, and I'm actually doing a 6 month reevaluation this week to kind of see how things are going and changing my goals around just to make sure that I know my goals, know where I'm going, and know where I'm heading with everything. So I absolutely love that last words of wisdom you shared there. And I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to hop on and share your story and share some insights. And I really appreciate you taking the time. And Gigi, we'll have to have you come back on sometime soon.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, Rob.
Appreciate it.
Take care. Okay.